Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim. This is another Real Ideal Gear review, and today we're looking at gift ideas. This is a long video. There's a ton of ideas out here for you when it comes to watches, knives, flashlights, and some of the associated accessories that go along with it. There's going to be some great deals starting tomorrow with these watches, and I just highly encourage you to take it out, take a look at them. I'm also going to be selling a few knives on there as well. Keep in mind that all of these watches and knives have gone through the review process, so there may be some minor scratches on there just from the review that I put them through. But as far as function goes, you're going to get a great deal on a highly functional knife, watch, whatever that's on sale there. Check it out, realidealgear.com under the shop section. Thank you very much. Take care. All right, this list may look intimidating, this quantity of things out here, but we're going to fly through these items really fast. I've got a few categories I'm going to kind of stick to just to kind of cluster some of these things together. Then I'm going to get into some of the more practical applications of some of these items when it comes to gift giving. But overall, there are so many options when it comes down to gift giving that really can start with a watch or end with a watch, can include flashlights, knives. Those are the three things that I've kind of grown to appreciate as far as gifts over the years. I think those three things really speak to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. And so there's a lot of different options out there for gift giving in these areas. And then there's also some things that kind of go along the I guess, tertiary outside edge of all of this. So start things off. Let's take a watch check. And we have the Zelos Spearfish. Just got this a couple of days ago. And this is the bronze case, and really, really like this. This is my second bronze case watch. You can see how shiny the case is at this point in time, but it will change. And I have another example of that in this cluster of gifts out here. That is a bronze case right over here, and you'll start to see what that bronze case turns into over time. And that's something to keep in mind too, that it's not only just the different things that we have here, it's the different colors that you can get, the different materials that they're made out of. There's a lot of different little twists and turns that you can have when it comes down to these items that I think really make these gifts special and unique, memorable for the recipient. So let's get started with the youngest category out there, which is kind of the elementary aged child. And this is something I'm passionate about because I think that kids can be introduced to watches, knives, flashlights, all those kind of things at an appropriate age level for the appropriate reasons. And with some training and with just some help from adults, they can grow to love these tools. These tools are great tools to have. When it comes down to the age of the child, that's going to be totally up to the person who's giving the gift. Be responsible about what you give them. There certainly are some knives out here that I would not give an elementary aged child. At the same time, there are plenty of options out there for elementary aged kids when it comes down to watches and knives and flashlights and batteries and all kinds of other cool things, multi-tools, stuff like that. So let's get started with the watches. We're going to start with this little cluster right here. And this is a cluster of watches I think are really appropriate for elementary age kids. And we'll go from left to right. We have the F217 on the left, the F91, and then we also have the let's see, what's that one? Oh, that's the F108, so that's the W217 on the far left, and the F201. One of the things I think you got to keep in mind is just the actual physical size of the child that you're giving these watches to. But Casios are great gifts for kids. So whether it's the W217 or the F108 or the F91 or the F201 over here on the far right, there are plenty of options when it comes down to what you could give a kid who's in the elementary school bracket. So I recommend for the younger kids the F201. I think this is one of the best watches that's out there for the money, right around that $20, $15 to $20 range. You just can't beat it. Water resistance, this is not necessarily a swimming watch, although it's not a big deal if they do swim in it. I don't think you have to be too concerned about it. It's a low-cost risk. Just keep in mind the risk involved with the watch that they're wearing. The F91 is really, in my opinion, is best suited for just your smaller stature kids, with small wrists. The strap itself is very small. I don't really consider this an adult male type strap because it's just so small. A lot of the guys with larger wrists, and I'm on the borderline. I think I'm 3 holes from the very end of this. So it fits, it works, but I know I don't have a very large wrist either. But when it comes down to it, this is a great size, great looking display. The light on this one is actually pretty bad. It has a stopwatch. It has an alarm. It has a 24-hour readout if they want to play with that. The alarm was good too. You set the alarm and you could have it go off. It has an hourly chime. But these two watches, I think, really fit well with the elementary school kid in mind. If you've got somebody who's really probably more interested in watches, then the 217 or the 108 on the right here, these are the two watches that I think would really do well for them. It's a larger size watch, much better illumination. The F91 is actually the worst of the four, but these two are awesome. The 217 is actually really good when it comes down to the light. It has this reverse illumination, which makes it super easy to read. And of course, the 108 and the 201, these two guys right here, they do a great job of illumination too. So overall, these watches I think are great options for kids in elementary school. You can certainly get them an automatic watch. You can get them a dive watch. There's other cheap options out there. Casio makes a great dive watch when it comes down to it. Let's see if I've got it around here. Of course, they don't have it with me right now, but they've got a great option. Citizen has a really good dive watch for about $50. Casio has one that's really good for about $50. So there's some good dive watches out there as well. Low cost, low risk. So these are the ones I recommend as far as watches for kids. Now, what about a flashlight? And flashlight I think is something that you also can have. Kids can have a lot of fun with a flashlight, and again, low risk. Very low cost. I'm going to put in the video as we go through this some real quick prices, the description, or at least the brand name and the model of the item that I'm talking about here. But this is the Aurora, the Rovivon Aurora series. And I think this is the A1. This is what it comes in. Very simple, just a straight up flashlight. I think there's 2 or 3 modes in here, but you get your charging cord in there as well. You've got a clip on here and a key ring, so they can attach it to a key ring, which is kind of important too, because if you have kids that are coming home late from school, or they're latchkey kids, you're gone to work and they're coming home when you're not there, having a key ring with a house key on there and a flashlight is also a good deal. It's a rechargeable light. You don't have to worry about extra batteries, pulling them in and out, charging it. It charges right inside. The batteries are inside, micro USB. It's a great light, 650 lumens. So this light actually does a very good job of lighting up the situation that's out there for them. So highly recommend this for kids when it comes to a flashlight. I'm not sure if there are other colors out there, but after a while, they don't really care too much about the color anyway. It's more about the light itself. So what about a knife? I think when it comes down to a knife, you're looking at, and I'm going to pull this guy out right here. This is the Gerber dime, and the Gerber dime, this is heavily used. It's not silver, actually. It comes with in this case, I think it was green, but I had it in my pocket with my keys and this was my everyday carry for a couple of years. But this multi-tool has everything you could possibly need. It has a good pliers. I think these, for the size, are one of the best pliers on the market for this size tool. Has a knife. Let's see here. Has a knife, scissors. Let's see if we can pull these guys out. There's the scissors. Scissors, yeah, it's okay, but it's spring loaded, so that's good. But I think the other big thing about this, which a lot of these multi-tools have, especially the Swiss Army knife, is the tweezer. So you get a tweezer in this that is really very effective. It slips right in here. Got a little bit of debris in there, but it slips right in here. And you've got yourself, I think, one of the best pocket multi-tools that are out there. You got a key loop here for that you can hook onto, and just an outstanding little multi-tool for kids. So looking for your high school, college age student, child, whatever the situation might be, these are some really interesting watches that also, I think, lend themselves to that type of lifestyle, to that type of activity level, those kind of things. But one of the dressy watches, I think, is really a pretty cool watch for high school students and college students. Now they're probably, for a watch like this, there need to be into the watch world a little bit. So I don't think this is necessarily something that you would give as an introductory watch to somebody who's into watches. This would be a very cool option. Full lume dial, has a chronograph. The second hand is moving around right now, as you can see. It has the 2 registers on here. It has a 24-hour, 30-minute, and 12-hour time toller on the left. Yeah, and you've got your running seconds over here at the 3 o'clock, but you also have down here at the 6 o'clock, you have a dual time alarm standalone subdial. This actually has an alarm to it, and you can set the alarm and it will go off every day on that particular time. Now it'll go off twice a day because it's not an AM or PM type alarm. It is every 12 hours, whatever that time is, it will go off. So it's a 12-hour alarm, but keep that in mind. And then, of course, the return, when you hit the stop, this is kind of cool. Everything, it's a spin back. It's not a fly back, it's a spin back. So it spins back to zeros, and it takes a little while to do that. So very cool watch when it comes down to, I think that age group would be I think they'd very much enjoy that. Sport watch. This is an Aliexpress watch. This is the Pagani 1717. Great sport watch. Seiko movement on the inside, so highly reliable movement on the inside, but just a great looking watch. Sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance with a screw down crown. Great bracelet. Everything adjusts the way it should. It's just it's a pleasurable watch to wear. The only downside to this one is the lume. Highly recommend this watch though if they're interested in kind of a sport watch that's cheap. This is less than $100, typically around $80. You can get this on sale. Highly recommend this watch. Also, if you're looking a little bit more for a sport dive watch, this is one of the best out there. This is right around that $200 mark, and this is the San Martin SN0, I think it's 036 or 0036. I think it's the 036. But it's a great dial. It has a little bit of a fume dial on the outside edge, which means that as the color moves, as you look from the center to the edge, it gets darker. There's kind of a more dark or black hue that is injected into the color. Great handset, excellent lume, all-night lume. Another Seiko movement on the inside, highly reliable. Great bezel action for a timer bezel. Lines up great adjustments. This has the latest adjust on the fly clasp. So what that means is you press this little button and you can make micro adjusts on here without any tools. It's a toolless adjustment. Highly recommend that watch as well. If you're looking for something that is just a little bit different, and again, these are relatively speaking, these are not expensive at all. This is the Red Star Bullhead chronograph, and it's an homage. It's an homage after another more popular brand, but the point being, this is a very affordable watch, bullhead design, very different looking. So again, this is probably for somebody who's into watches, but just the uniqueness of this watch, I think, would really lend itself to just, a good conversation piece. Sapphire crystal. It's got some water resistance. I think it's 50 meters. I'll put that in the video down below here. Great leather strap on here. And it also has the ST1901 movement, which you get to look at on the backside and just kind of enjoy that chronograph movement, all the different parts that move on there. Is it the most reliable movement? No, it's not. As far as historical, failure rates go. At the same time, there are so many of them out there. I think the percentage is way low enough to take the risk. Again, risk versus reward. I absolutely think it's worth the risk. I have a number of ST1901 movements. None of them have failed. They're all working just fine. So great watch, just a unique style watch, unique colorway, dial layout. It's a fun watch to look at. Now, a classic watch. This is probably one of the best high school, college watches out there. This is Mr. Indestructible. This is the Casio Square, the 5610U, and the U is for the updated module that's on the inside from decades ago. I think they updated it in 2018, if I remember right around there. But a great watch. It has auto light, so when you tip your hand, a light comes on. It also senses if it's daylight out, it won't come on. It only comes on when it's dark out. It has the atomic timekeeping, so the time is always accurate. You have the alarms, you have dual time, stopwatch, timer, 200 meters of water resistance. Just a great design from the 1980s that has stood the test of time. It passes a lot of different tests and things that I run it through, and I wear this to work all the time. Pretty easy to read. If you got someone who has really, poor vision, this may not be the one for them because the numbers are a little smaller, but not hugely smaller, but this is this is a great option for high school kids, college kids, even junior high kids. This watch is small enough, I think, that would fit definitely anybody who's in middle school, junior high school, college. Absolutely. I wear this a lot, and I like it. It works really well. The only downside to me is the buttons. The buttons are just recessed in there. They're a little bit hard to push. I call them fingernail buttons because you end up using your fingernail to depress the button. But also keep in mind that means you don't accidentally press the button when you're wearing it. So a huge positive, huge plus there. So those are some things there I think would be really helpful on the watch side. Now, what about some knives? This is probably, I think, one of the best high school, college knives that's out there. This is the Tinker Deluxe. And the Tinker Deluxe has all kinds of features. One of the big things that's on this one that is not on, say, the Huntsman is the pair of pliers. And you get a little pair of pliers on here, which is great. And they actually have some grip strength to them. And as far as lateral, side to side twisting strength, does a really good job of just maintaining just really good strength, I think. So you've got the screwdriver, you got the parcel hook, you've got the awl in there, you've got the scissors, the two knives, the screwdriver, the can opener, all kinds of cool stuff in here. One of the mods I've put on here, though, and there's all kinds of mods you can do to this, is I've added a ferrocerium rod, which displaced my toothpick. So I put this in a different location, and I cut a hole for that, put that in there. I think this is the ferrocerium rod. No, there's the tweezers. All right, in the back side, here's the ferrocerium rod, the ferro rod, fire starter, okay, and then it's got a ballpoint pen. And so you've got all those different things you can put on there. Great knife. Screwdriver. Why the Tinker, I think, is a great model is because it has the screwdriver, it has the pliers, it has the flat head screwdriver. So you've got two different style screwdrivers, you've got a pliers, you can do a lot of minor repairs that you need a little extra grip, or you need a little, screwdriver or something on there. So I have this in my pocket for work all the time. I'm always using this. And the thing I use the most is the small knife for opening packages. This is what I use 90% of the time, is this small knife. Sometimes I'll use the screwdriver. Sometimes I'll use the scissors. The parcel hook actually is helpful because when I leave the grocery store, I am carrying tons of bags, those plastic bags, and this thing carries a lot of weight. So I highly recommend this knife when it comes down to just a kind of a multi-tool for college-age students, high school students. But if you're looking for a really good multi-tool, I highly recommend Gerber. I love Gerber multi-tools. I'm a huge fan of them. I think they do a great job. The lockup you get on these is excellent. I always have a Gerber multi-tool on me. I carry these two with me to work all the time. This one gets used more than this one does. And the reason I carry this one is primarily because you have access to a very large needle nose pliers. So that to me is there's a huge plus in there. You've got a few more robust tools in there, screwdrivers, knives, different kinds of knives. You have the scissors in there as well. You have wire cutters on these pliers too, so you can cut wire if you need to, but just a much wider opening that you can get with that pliers than you can certainly get with the Swiss Army knife. But the Tinker Deluxe, these two are awesome together. Great multi-tools for college-age high school students. You got that mini tool set with you wherever you go, and I think that's really, really important. Now, high school and college kids are always plugging in their phone. Let's talk a little bit about batteries. The best battery pack I've seen out there is this one. I'll put the video description down here in the video itself. I like this one because it has all the pigtails that I need. Let's get that around. I have the C, the Apple. We got a little dog here and there. Got the USB-C. The original USB, the C, the micro, and the Apple. This is the charging cord, which is a USB regular to a micro, and that plugs in up here, and that's how you charge the device. It's also solar powered, so you can put this in a car on the dash, hopefully not during the summertime, but pretty much any other time. Put it on the dash, and it's always trickle charging the battery. So if you're not using it for a few weeks, you're going to have a full battery when you need to use it. It tells you the charge of the battery itself. If you hold this button down, the light should come on. There's a little bit of an LED light on here. I don't remember the exact combination for it. There it goes. Little LED light that you can shine. So that's good too. You've got different ways you can charge things out. You have the USB, the typical USB. You have the USB-C, the micro, in and out of this one. It's fantastic. This is the best compact size charger I've come across. Now, that being said, you also need to have the right charging tools. All right, so this is what it looks like. And what you do is you pull this out, and I've given this to my boys. They have one of these. So you have an adapter down here, and in that adapter, you have the Apple phone plug-in that goes over the end of this micro plug right here. So you have a micro on this end right here, and then you have the Apple, and these two go together. If you need to modify it, you just plug that in. You got yourself something you can plug an Apple phone into. This is your typical USB plug on the end here. Plug this into whatever the power source is, and you've got power going either way. Really simple, probably the two most popular pigtail ends out there, along with the regular USB plug. Now, I think a better option is this one. It's called the InCharge. And the InCharge, I think they do a great job of putting together a great pigtail system here. And this one is really cool because you pull it out and you've got your Apple right here. So we've got the Apple pigtail right here, and that goes over a USB-C. So you've got those two ends here. On this end, you have the regular USB, and then you also have a USB-C. So I can have a USB-C on one end, and I can have it on both ends. I can have an Apple on one end. I can have a regular USB over here and the C over here, or an Apple. So you've got these different combinations. And as far as like compactability, how compact is it? It clicks together. There's two magnets that hold these two ends together, and I think it does a great job. It's called the InCharge 6, and just a fantastic system when it comes down to pigtails. So another great gift. You can find that on Amazon. Also keep in mind batteries, whether the 18650s, these are the big batteries that we're using for some of these flashlights out here, or your AAA size rechargeable batteries, some of your high drain AA batteries, like I have a couple of them out here. You get the maximum output of light when you have these rechargeable lithium-ion batteries in there. So have extra batteries. When you buy a flashlight, get an extra battery. Make sure they have the right charging cords. But highly recommend you get those batteries at the point of sale or very, very soon thereafter, just to make sure that they have all the tools that they need. So that kind of covers most of, I think, the high school and college, gifting. But let's take a look at if you're going to go professional, someone who's in the professional world, they've finished college, they're doing some, pretty cool things now. What are some of the things that you typically can get for someone like that? I think you're looking at probably higher end watches. I'm going to go back to Zelos for just a minute. And this is the Zelos Hammerhead. And this is an example. This is not promoting Zelos. I have no affiliate links with any of this material out here. This is all the material that I've purchased over the years. And I approve of it highly, because that's why I have it and I still have it. But for a watch like this, you got, again, this is the difference between a brand new bronze case, and one that's been around for about 6 months. And you start to get this darkening patina when it comes down to, I'll take this watch off. So you get something with a bronze case, and you're going to end up with something that looks like this as far as the differences go. And I really like this, and I knew that when I bought this Hammerhead that it was going to turn darker, and I love the rubber strap, the black rubber strap, the darkening of the bronze, and you get a nice, real good color combination. So I'm expecting this bronze to be darkening as much as this Hammerhead bronze as well. So, but when you're looking at professional, I think, just something different. Look for a watch that has different materials as far as the case goes. This is a full lume dial. It's called the Frost. Full lume dials are really nice. If you go full lume dial, make sure that you go with blackout hands, blackout hour markers. It's just easier to read during the day. If you have loomed hands and loomed hour markers, which are generally lighter colored or white colored, on top of a white or light colored dial, the legibility, it's just harder to read. So to me, this is an example, a really good example of when you have a full lume dial, this is kind of the setup that you really should go for, which is blacked out hands. But it's a great system. It's a great setup. I really like it a lot. Another one, I'm going to put this watch back on so I don't have stuff flying all over the place here. Another couple of watches I think that are really good buys for the professional. If you have a few extra bucks that you want to throw that direction, Laurier and Wise watches. The Wise Adamascus AD8, fantastic watch, high beat movement. Just a really interesting dial. When you look at this dial, unbelievable texture on the dial itself. 904L steel. This is the same kind of steel that is used in the Rolex. It's a high polished stainless steel, and you can tell the difference when you put a 904L next to a 316, and you can see the luster is just so much greater on a 904L steel. This is an Artem strap. This is a sailcloth strap, so this is not the factory strap. I love the Artem strap. I've been talking with these guys about, just their new straps coming out. The sailcloth strap is a waterproof canvas style strap, and they make, I think, one of the best ones that's out there as far as the overall waterproofness, the comfortability, the look of the watch, or the strap itself. It does a great job on this particular watch. I love it. Now, another one I think that does a great job, this is Laurier. This is the Hydra Zulu. Let me wipe the dust off here. The Hydra Zulu just came out, and this is a GMT. You see the GMT down here. This is the red hand. That's the second time zone. Has a different movement in there for that reason. So it has a 4-hand set versus the 3-hand set. 3-hand is minute, second, and hour hand. This has 4. Okay. Both of them have timing bezels, and the timing bezels are excellent. Excellent lume on both of these. This is probably better. The Wise Adamascus is phenomenal lume. If you look online at different lume contests that are out there, you're going to see this watch does an awesome job as far as all-night lume capabilities. Laurier does a great job. I love the lume setup on this one. The nighttime lume on this it's just really cool. It does last all night. Both of them have the date window down here at the 6 o'clock position. A little more expensive watches out there for the professional out there. One that's a little bit more sporty, one that's a little bit more refined. They do have these now in the 904L steel bracelets, and the bracelet is that metal link bracelet that goes with the watch too. So they're selling that with that. I think it's a fantastic buy for the professional. Now, what else? Consider a fountain pen. I have not been a huge fountain pen for a long time, and I've always viewed fountain pens as kind of the calligraphy type pens, but there are some really good manufactured fountain pens out here. This is by Lamy. You can get cartridges that you basically just pull out, put a new one in, and you screw the back down, and it pushes down and punctures the hole, and it provides ink to the nib, which is this part right here at the end, and you've got yourself a really cool writing utensil. Now, is it the most fine-tipped pen out there? No, absolutely not. But it does a great job when it comes down to just a different feel. I actually write differently. I don't press as hard. My hand is not as tense when I'm writing with a fountain pen, because if you do that, you're going to have a ton of ink coming out. So if you find that someone is just gripping that pen really hard and pressing down really hard on the pen, this might be a way to kind of retrain them to not do that as much. So this is by Lamy. It's a fountain pen. You also have, and I use this right now, this is a refillable cartridge in there. You just screw it all the way down, and then you suck up, just like a syringe, sucks up, fluid for a doctor in a doctor's office. It's the same principle, sucks up a bunch of fluid, and as you use it, the fluid just goes down and gets used up, and then you do it again. You don't have to buy those cartridges, but great buy, not expensive at all, but just a fun, I think, professional thing for the professional. Now let's go back to the knife for a second. The Swiss Army Compact, this is a very thin version. If I pull out the Tinker, the Deluxe Tinker, you can see the thickness difference between these two. This is much more pocket friendly. And it also, I think, is just that it has a little bit more of an elegant look to it overall. It has the basic tools you need. It has the 2 knives. It has the 1 knife. It has the bottle opener. It has the scissors, where the scissor clip, there we go. Here's the scissors. Got to have the scissors, all right? And then you've also got the parcel hook. And one of the things I like about this parcel hook is it also has a nail file on the back side of the parcel hook. And I think that's really, that's an impressive thing. It does a good job of doing a nail file or filing the nail. You've got a glasses screwdriver right here that goes into the corkscrew. Corkscrew, I don't use it very much at all. I do think, though, that this is a great tool for shoelaces that get into a knot. Okay, I took out the toothpick and I put in a ferrocerium rod. Why? Because this is an adult package. I don't really use the toothpick, and honestly, I'm not really interested in putting a toothpick in my mouth where this has been in my pocket for days, weeks, even months on end. So I'm not a huge fan of the toothpick anyway, so I put a ferrocerium rod in here so I can start a fire if I need to. And then you've got the pen. And the people ask, so how does the pen work? Like you can grab the pen like this and you can write it. It's a ballpoint pen. No problem there. But if you take and you put the parcel hook in here and you put this in here, let's see, you get that down, oops, wrong way. Just like that. Whoops. It will turn into a writing utensil. Okay? And the further back you go, the more grip you're going to get. And so you can make this into a grippy pen. Okay? So, but now you have a pen that you can actually write with. And this actually does a good job of writing just like this. So the Swiss Army Knife Compact, or the Victorinox Compact, is, I think, a great tool. I carry this generally when I'm not out mowing, which is only about 3 or 4 months of the year. Otherwise, I'm carrying the Deluxe Tinker all the time. But this is a great, not compact, but it's just a slimmer design for full-sized knife set, full-size scissors, parcel hook. You've got, you know, some other tools on there that most people use all the time. So I highly recommend that one for professionals, or, you know, anybody who wants one that doesn't have all the tools on it. Now, what about flashlights? We haven't talked about flashlights yet. We're going to go through a flashlight binge right now, and then we'll get back into knives and watches again. But in the back here, I've got a bunch of flashlights. We'll pull these up. And we're going to start off with the smaller flashlights to kind of kick things off. These are the kind of your everyday carry type flashlights. Okay? And they have a lot of different functions. Some of them are redundant as far as just their overall purpose, just a slightly different design. But if you want the ultimate and compact everyday carry, the Rovivon A8 is the way to go. And I say the A8 because you get a few extra features with the A8 that you don't get with the A1. So this is the A1, this is the A8. They're the same size. You can see that, about the size of a AA battery or AAA battery. Okay, very small. But the clip itself is much better than the old. This is the old version right here, the old generation. This is the new generation. You can also see that the switch has gotten better with the old generation to the new generation. The new generation is a much better switch. Okay, has a lockout function so the battery doesn't get discharged in your pocket as you're wearing it. But you also have 3 different lights. You have a UV light, you have a red light, you have a reading light. Just a great combination. And I use the UV light all the time. I charge up my watch before I go to sleep at night, and you hit it 3 times and you get the little UV light on there. All right, give it a little charge and you've got a watch, whoops, and then it turns to red too. But you've got a little charge right there, and you can make your watch glow if you're wearing a watch with lume on it. So great light, very bright, over 600 lumens on this. It has a very low power setting as well. You can get the natural light or you get a more blue light. Fantastic size. This is one of my favorite ones to carry, especially since it has a lockout function. Whenever you carry a flashlight in your pocket, you have to make sure it has a lockout function. That leads me to my most carried flashlight, which is the Olight S1R Baton 2. And this light has 1,000 lumens. This is a very bright light. The thing I don't like about this is the proprietary charging tail cap. This is one where, actually I'm having an issue with this one after about 3 years, that either the tail cap is not functioning properly or my battery is worn out. But lockout feature, and I think it has 4 different levels of brightness, up to 1,000 lumens, which is super bright. It has a 2-way clip, so you can wear this frontwards or backwards. I wear this on my ball cap all the time. So as far as headlamp goes, you don't have to get a headlamp if you have one of these flashlights. You just put this on your ball cap and you've got yourself a headlamp. Take it off. If you need to stick it to something that's metal, stick it on there, and you got, you know, a light, a portable light that shines wherever you need that light, so long as the, you know, it's going to be perpendicular to whatever you set it on, but you're going to have a light that gives you, you know, extra brightness in an area that's not very bright. I love this flashlight. It's the perfect size. It has the perfect amount of battery power to it. One of the downsides to the Rovivon A8 is just the capacity of the battery is not very high. So you're just not going to get a lot of high power light out of this flashlight for a very long period of time. When you look at these two, you can see right away the capacity of the battery is going to make a difference on how long that light can stay on. Even in the low power setting, all across the board, you just have more capacity. Is it overall that much bigger? Diameter-wise, yes. Height-wise, no. They're about the same size height-wise. So in the pocket, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and that's where I usually have it. Through light, or through night, is another option. This is kind of the cheaper version of the Olight. So if you're looking for a cheaper version of the Olight, this can run you about $60. This is far less than that. Also 1,000 lumens. When I get into this size battery, this size flashlight out here, I'm looking for 1,000 lumens or better. It's a much better light. Also, I love magnetic tail caps. Now this one does not have a proprietary tail cap. It does not at all. So this one has, I think this is micro. Yep. This is a micro USB charge, and you can charge this right in here. You pull that rubber cap back, and you've got a charging port right there on the flashlight. You don't have to take the battery out. Great two-way clip, same deal. You can wear it on a ball cap. You can put it in your pocket. Different ways, different configurations. Magnetic tail cap, and you can stick this onto things, and you get that same flashlight. Kind of go anywhere you want. The Ace Beam, the poke light. All right. So the Ace Beam poke light is a AA sized flashlight. The battery inside here is a AA sized battery. You can use AA regular batteries you get at a grocery store or at a gas station, or you can use the lithium ion rechargeable batteries in here, which will give you the maximum output, which is close to 1,000 lumens. I think it might be 800 lumens. I'll put that in the video down here below, just to make sure you get the right lumen amount here. Very simple to use, tail cap, and it has 3 modes: low, medium, high. Tail cap. A lot of people like the tail cap because of how you can hold the flashlight and manipulate this. Great for tactical reasons. Also has the two-way clip that you can wear in a ball cap or in other configurations in your pocket. Great light. I love it a lot. Now, another version of this is this H-Beam A16. Slightly different configuration. This is that right angle lantern look that you'd see from Vietnam with the old Vietnam flashlights. Actually, those flashlights were around before that, but probably made popular. People realized the design more from that war than anything else. But this is a really great flashlight for that reason alone. So you have a 90-degree positioning of the light. All right. So the light is at a 90-degree angle. The on-off switch is here at the top, and you manipulate the different levels up there. It has a magnetic tail clip or magnetic tail cap down here at the bottom, and this also runs off of a AA sized battery. So if the battery wears out on this one, you can go to the store, get a AA sized battery, put it in. You're not going to get the same brightness level because the discharge, the amount of energy that goes to the LED is just not as high. So, but you're going to have access to all kinds of batteries out there. So great light. I love this light a lot. I think it's probably the better version of the poke light, although I do love the tail cap switch on there. This has the two-way clip for the hat and so on. Very bright, 1,000 lumens. Has a strobe on there as well. This one does not have a strobe. So if you need the strobe for whatever reason, you can do that just to kind of notify people what's going on. Now let's get to some of the bigger ones here. This is the Nitecore, the MT21C. Okay, I like this one a lot. This is a 18650 battery in here, and the 18650 battery in there is one that really allows for not only 1,000 lumens but for an extended period of time. Magnetic tail cap down here, but you have the ability to rotate the head. Okay, you can rotate this whatever degrees you want. So not only can I put this on a surface like this, I can rotate the flashlight on the surface, and I can rotate the angle of the flashlight on that same surface. I highly recommend this flashlight. Nitecore makes some of the toughest flashlights. I wore this when I was on duty as a cop. It was one of my favorite brands to have. It was a different style than this one, but pretty much the same dimensions, straight up, and it had a tail cap on-off switch on the back. So this is one of my favorite flashlights for the reasons of the adjustable top on here. But you have the different styles. You have the different levels of lume on here, so keep that in mind too. This one you have to hold down to turn on, and then you can rotate through the 4 different levels: low, medium, high, and then you have turbo at the end there, which is an amazing amount of light. Hold the button down, turns things off. You can hang this off of something like this. Okay, it's got a little hanger on here. Of course, it picks up things that are magnetic. Great flashlight. Similar to that is the Sofern HS41. This is supposed to be 4,000 lumens. I'm not totally sure it's 4,000 lumens, but it is awfully bright. This is an internal charging system. Pull this back and you've got your USB-C. That's something to keep in mind, is whatever charging system you're going to go with, especially if this is anything that you want to kind of make your own as far as your own standard of charging cords, get together a bunch of the batteries that or systems that run off of USB-C. So this is a USB-C charging. This is the updated A8. The older version is micro. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you have a bunch of things that are USB-C, don't get one that's USB micro. Go get the one that's USB-C. Keep everything organized so that you only have to have one cord to charge a whole bunch of different things. 4 LEDs gives you some really bright light. This is, yeah, it is amazingly bright. Magnetic tail cap. Doesn't have the adjustable head on here, but it does an awesome job. Sofern, very cheap. Two-way clip on here. I'm not so sure about, even with the other one, the Ace Beam. I don't know about this. Maybe I might give up the magnetic tail cap for the tail switch down there. I really like being able to stick this to something and have that be on there for the long term when it comes down to just emergency use. So there you go with the different flashlights out there. The Ace Beam came with, just so that you're aware of, the Ace Beam comes with a headset or a headlamp type setup. You just take these two rubber ends here, you can put this through here and you've got yourself a headlamp. Okay, and again, you can rotate this and use this as a headlamp. Sofern has the exact same thing. It's right back here. Same deal. You have these rubber loops right here. You run the flashlight through here. You can rotate it back and forth, and you've got yourself a headlamp that comes with the flashlight. So I think that's a great recommendation for that. Some other things about professional use. This is a big knife. This is the Tucson, and I forget the model number on here. Let's see, it's on here somewhere. The TS388. I just love the design of this blade. I got this from my father-in-law, and he's really enjoying. He's an outdoorsman. He loves to hike, and we're talking hike long distances. He was doing the PCT a few years back and got snowed out. Was it snowed out, or maybe it was the weather? The weather just got really bad. I forget exactly what it was for, but the weather turned on him. But anyway, I got him this knife. He loves it. This is a great knife because of the belly you have on here. You can slice a lot of things. You can skin things if you're into using this for hunting or anything like that. It's got a great blade on here. D2 steel, which is, it's prone to rust, but at the same time, it's a really hard steel. It's one that, it holds its edge pretty well. Liner lock. And just a great looking knife. Something that's a little bit different. It's not your typical design as far as blade goes. What I like about this handle, though, is you have the bulb at the end. So when you're gripping the knife, you have a little bit more resistance as you get closer to the end of the knife for your pinky finger, ring finger. And so to me, it feels better in the hand when you have something a little bit more broad there at the end. So great knife. I love this knife as far as professional goes. Some smaller versions as far as knives are concerned, the CJRB Malaya. This is a great little knife, kind of a cleaver style blade. I think it's called a sheep's foot blade, but just a great little knife. Pretty compact. Sometimes I think it's a little bit too small for my hands. I can get 2 fingers around it. Third finger is kind of on the edge of that wide part of the handle here, but the grip is really nice. The blade is super sharp. I love the red accents on here. So to me, this is just another knife that I think is a great small compact knife. The Mini Banter by Civivi is awesome. I just can't express how much I love this knife. Great blade on here. This has got the stone washed finish on it, which I like. You don't have to worry about it as much as far as the polishing goes. I don't polish knives, but it's just one of those things I don't have to worry about it at all. Good clip, pretty solid clip, liner lock, great little knife. The Banter is one that there's different sizes of this knife. I think WE makes the large version of it. WE is the parent company to Civivi. And so check that knife out. Next up is the Kaiser Assassin, the real KA knife. Now I like this one a lot because I love the blade shape. This also has a button lock, nice scales on here. Great blade thickness, nice thick spine in the back. It's a great knife, and I love button lock knives. It keeps your fingers out of the way. I don't think there's a lot of risk of your fingers getting in the way of this knife, but it is just a great overall knife. And if you want to use the flipper tab, you can use the flipper tab as well. So I really highly recommend the Kaiser Assassin. I think it's a great model. The reason I got red was because it goes with watches. So this is another thing. If you're looking for some kind of gift idea, try to color coordinate some of this stuff. You got yourself, a red watch, or maybe they already have a watch, or vice versa, they have a red knife, you want to get them a red watch, but you can start to color coordinate some of these things. I think this is a way to do that is just a lot of fun. I've got, take a look at this Signum Cuda titanium full lume dial. Great watch. Signum makes some great watches. Check out Signum on their website. They've just got some great deals on there. This is an aftermarket strap that I wanted to go just really make this bright. It has a titanium bracelet that goes with it. This is a titanium case. But then I have a Revo Ness, and the Revo Ness is the style of blade. It's called the Nesma style blade. So it's just kind of this wider blade, kind of towards the outer 2/3 and comes back down to a point. Just a great design, and it goes with the knife as well. Great G10 scales. Pocket clip is awesome. But consider that when you're looking at gifts, that you can color coordinate some of these, watches and knives. This is the Max Ace. I forget what this one's called. The Max Ace Balance M390 steel on here, which is really good steel. The color is not quite the perfect match, but it's pretty close. Liner lock. Great steel, larger knife, as you can see. Okay, my hand fits on there perfectly. Okay, pop that open there, but my hand fits on there just perfectly. But it just goes really well with this Zelos swordfish. Review on this one as well. All these watches I've reviewed, so check my other videos for the reviews. Great watch, love it. Full lume dial, full lume bezel, blacked out hands. Again, if you go full lume, go blacked out hands. Great stainless steel bracelet, reasonably priced. Also, adjust on the fly clasp. There's the little button pusher down there that you can adjust on the fly. Great watch. I love the color. Again, color coordinate. I think that's another great touch. Now, what about taking an outdoorsman, and what about gifts for an outdoorsman? Well, I think one of the cheapest things you can get them, and this might be something that they may poo-poo to start with, but I think it's really something that's grown on me. I'm an outdoorsman. I love the outdoors. I work outdoors. I love hunting, fishing, all that stuff, camping. But it's the compass, the watch compass that you can put on a strap. This one's made by Sunto, and the cardinal directions are illuminated, so you can charge these up and they illuminate for quite a while. This is also, the watch is called the MDC Infantry, which is a full lume dial. It's a quartz movement, so you don't have to do any winding. You just set it, and the time it's so accurate. Quartz movements are very accurate. This is also called a military style, quote unquote NATO style strap, and so you've got this ability to hang on to this watch head in case something were to break off. The strap should still hang on to the watch, and you won't lose the watch as you're hiking or whatever you're doing. But these watch compasses, I think, are outstanding. I have another one here on my Casio Big Sky, which is the W736. Okay, this is another add-on. It just slides on. Okay, you can slide that on. Full lume compass, and with blacked out cardinal directions on there. This one you can slide on and off as well. These generally are made for 22 millimeter straps. So if you have a 20 millimeter strap, be aware that you're going to get some side to side play. But I found that when you put them on a Casio, and I think they work really well on a Casio, this is a great option. So keep that in mind. I think this is a great option for the outdoorsman out there, is a compass add-on for their watch, especially since you don't have to buy the watch. You can just go for it with the watch that they have. If you're looking for an outdoorsman watch, I think this is probably one of the best options out there, and this is called the Pathfinder Triple Sensor, the PRW 6600. Great outdoor watch. Analog digital display. You have the analog hands, quick, easy time, easy to read the time on here. But you also have the different modes down here. I can go to the barometer, temperature. I can recall different altitude settings, stopwatch, I have a timer on here. I have multiple alarms. And it has the hourly signal, which is turned off. And I have world time, so I have a dual time. I can set this up for another time zone, okay? And then remote control. So this is a remote setting, which is atomic timekeeping. So this reads the atomic time. It's always at the right time, so long as this has got access to the atomic clock. Let's pull out that square, see where the square go. I think I buried it. What do we got here? Here it is. So these two watches operate off of that atomic timekeeping. And so you'll notice that they are at the exact same time. And the second hands are very, very close to each other because they reset based off of that atomic clock. This is in Denver, Colorado, the clock that we have here in this country. So great overall outdoor watch. I use it all the time. The barometer setting helps you see when weather changes are coming. So if you're out hiking or whatever, camping, you can see if there's a massive drop in the barometer, which is low pressure, which means, hey, storms are coming, or if there's a dramatic increase, which means calm weather is coming. Could be a little bit more windy, but these are the things I think that you can get for a person that's really into outdoors. Not too expensive as far as this watch is concerned. There's far more expensive ones out there. There's G-Shock versions of it, which I think are just overrated. I think G-Shock does it. It's a great job. They're definitely able to withstand more things, but I don't think the average person really puts the watch through that unless you're in the military, special forces, search and rescue. You're just not going to abuse your watch that much more, than the average person. But anyway, I think this is a great watch. Now, what if you're looking at something a little more historical, not hysterical, but historical? The DW290, this is the watch that was featured in the Mission Impossible. I bring this up here just as there's all kinds of watches out there that have a history behind them. So keep that in mind, that the history, you can find a watch out there that has history, which is great. And it's a little bit fun to wear the same watch that, in this case, Tom Cruise wore this in the Mission Impossible, the first movie of that series. And I have one of these. Do I like it? No, I don't. The only thing I like about this is the visual alert signal that you get, a flashing light. Problem is you have to be looking at your watch to know that the flashing light is flashing. So I prefer the vibrate alert, and the vibrate alert comes off of, in this watch right here, the Casio W736 has a vibration alarm on here, so you actually feel the vibration on your wrist. There's no audible alarm, there's no visual flashing light or anything, but you know that the alarm has gone off because your wrist is vibrating. So one of the great features, I think this is a great watch. It's a little tall, but keep that in mind. You've got the historical things that you can go after. You can go after some slightly different notifications that are out there. One of the best knives out there that I've found are the CJRB Pyrite. The Pyrite is an incredible knife design. Very simple. This is a button lock version. Just a great knife. This is the Black G10. Great pocket clip. Very simple to use. Has the thumb studs. You can also flip it open with the button lock. Just does a great job. You can get it in different colors. This is the stainless steel, which is a little bit heavier than this. This has got the G10, the plastic scales or handles on here. So keep that in mind. This is one of the best knives of 2023, was the CJRB Pyrite. A lot of reviews out there. I love it. I carry it all the time. Great knives. What about pocket sharpening? This is the guy I found online 2 years ago. It's called Sharpen's Best. And the guy's name is Brad Buckner. And he has, I don't know how many videos out there where he goes around and he will sharpen anybody's knife. And literally within a minute or two, he's got that knife sharpened to the point where it's amazing, actually. So I've purchased a couple of these and they do work. This is tungsten carbide steel, which is an extremely hard steel, which is why it works. And you have this little edge shaper down here, and then you can do the fine tuning of the sharpening off of this edge right here. It does a good job. It takes a while. It takes a little bit of getting used to as well. It takes a little bit of some training, some I don't know, trial and error to get it right. But it's a great little pocket sharpener. You can put this somewhere where you've got a place to have access to a sharpening kit. So put this in a backpack or something like that. So sharpensbest.com, great option. All right, a couple more unique things out here. Oh, I didn't talk about this ultralight Nightcore headlamp. Super, super lightweight, built-in battery. You can see from the headband here that this is extremely, extremely lightweight. And I try to keep things organized. So you're going to see here I've got the charging cord on here, and I've got this all inside out, but it's almost to the point where I can pull this. I'll just pull this through. There we go. So there. Okay. So there's your headlamp. Very, very low weight. Great headlamp. You've got, I think there's the red light, and you got the different levels of white light. I have the charging cord right here, USB-C. Okay, keeping things common between charging cords. All right, two more interesting things we're going to pull out here. You want to get an interesting gift? Try this one from Boker Knives. Now, make sure that you can legally own this and legally carry it if you want to carry it. But this knife is really cool, because this knife is actually a pen. All right, so here it is. So the pen, let's see here. The pen, there it goes. You just turn the pen out like that, and right. And then when you need a knife, you have an OTF knife on the back, and this is a sharp knife. Good letter opener. I gave this to my dad for his Christmas present last year, just as a way to open presents or open packages, sign things here. It's actually the perfect size for someone with larger fingers, maybe. I really like it. It's got these little ridges in here that help you grip the pen, eat more easily. Ballpoint pen, medium-sized writing. But you can also lock this out by just turning this cap at the top. And there we go. And now it's locked out so that it won't come out the top. Okay, nothing happens. Turn this back, and bingo, you got it. So this is by Boker. Highly recommended. I think it's a great knife pen combination, but make sure that you can own it, because OTF is not necessarily legal to have in all states or cities, unfortunately. Now, last one of the second to last knives. This is the SR1, Cold Steel SR1. This is a behemoth of a knife. The overall thickness of this knife is incredible. I'll pull up some other knives here that I've already had up here. Let's see, where is my, there's a Kaiser. We'll pull the Kaiser up here, which is kind of your typical medium-sized pocket knife. All right, so when we look at the different size steel here, you can see how thick that blade stock is. Incredibly thick. So if you're looking for somebody who wants an extra duty, heavy duty knife, this is the best knife I have come across. I think this is called the Triad lock on here, which is extremely robust. You're just not going to break the locking mechanism on here without actually, like, you're going to do something to yourself first before you break this mechanism. But it's a great lock unlock mechanism. Heavy duty knife. I carry this with me to work. So I carry this, I carry the Swiss Army knife, and I have the multi-tool. I use this for things that require some beef, some extra strength, maybe a little bit of prying on there, and this is why I got it. It's extra thick steel. But it really is a great heavy duty folding knife. So if you're looking for a heavy duty folding knife, I highly recommend this one. Again, I don't have any affiliate links to any of this stuff. I don't get paid by anybody to do any of this. These are things I've come across on my own. Last but not least is another Revo. Last but not least is another Revo knife. And this is their latest one. And I like this brand, this style, because of a couple of things. It's a button lock. And it also has such a sharp belly on here. I'm going to use this for skinning when I get a deer this year. And I'm going to use this for processing that. And I just think it's a great looking knife. I love the texture that they have here on the scales. Good pocket clip. Cheap knife too. I have this. Actually, this one's in my store. I bought a couple extra. I don't think I'm going to give them away. I think I'm just going to sell them for just maybe a little bit above the cost that I got them at a pretty good price. But this is where I might make a little bit, like $4 or $5 on this. But I just think it's a great brand, and I saw a few there. I bought them. I thought, I'm going to sell a few of these to people who are interested in it if they want to, or I might give them away. Who knows? But this is a great brand, great design knife. I love the sharp belly on this one. Just a very unique knife. So just having a little bit of fun with knives, I think, is important. Go out there and have fun with it. And last but not least, let's talk about having fun with watches. And these are two watches that I purchased. One is from China, and the other one is Invicta, which is a U.S. company. I think it's a U.S. company. anyway, they've been around a long time. But having fun with watches too. Like we got this watch for, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, NFL football. And we have this contest where we guess the score over a 2-week period, and whoever has the lowest differential in points compared to the actual score, they get to wear this watch for 2 weeks, and then we do it again. So this is what's called the Seer Trophy, which is Scandinavian for, I think it's just trophy. But anyway, we pass that around amongst us. We have fun with that one. This one is just an obnoxious 2-quartz watch movement watch. This is its own watch over here, and this is its own watch over here. They each have their own crowns on the side. And yes, this is a working thermometer, and this is a somewhat working compass. I don't know if it actually points to north, but it tries. So these other 4 pushers do absolutely nothing. But if you go to my review, we have a little bit of fun with this watch as far as what those pushers do. What those watchers do, what those pushers do. Yeah, I said it. So check this watch out on the reviews. All these things have been pretty much reviewed except for the knives and some of the other electronics, but all the watches have been reviewed on my channel. So just a real quick interruption. We're going to talk briefly about storage. I'm going to put some other pictures up of different storage solutions that I have. I have a hard case storage solution that I use for transporting watches to and from places where I'm showing people all kinds of different watches. It's also waterproof. It has the foam interior that is doesn't mar or scratch any of the watch's surfaces at all, which I really like. I also have the typical watch box. It holds 10. It has a drawer underneath for other things like tools and extra straps, things like that. I highly recommend something like that as well. I've also got a T-bar type wood display that holds 6 watches. It's supposed to hold 4, but I've managed to get 6 on there because I arranged the watches in a specific way. So take a look at that. Also, when it comes down to cords, things like that, storage solutions, I think have different type of containers to keep things organized. These are all Amazon, but just as a reminder that storage is also a part of this, and how you store your watches, how you store your knives, things like that. I'll show you a picture that I have for my knife storage and the different levels, So here's a picture of my knife storage. It has different sections for different knives, and I have my fixed blades on one side. I have my folders latched into the elastic bands on those, like pages almost. It's been a great storage saver for me. I don't have them stuffed in a drawer anywhere. They're all there. I can get to them really quick. So highly recommend you have these kind of storage solutions. As far as flashlights go, that's the one I don't have a storage solution for just yet. But I'm working on that. I'll find out I'll find a different storage thing for that as well. So check out realidealgear.com for some watches that I'm selling that I've reviewed. Again, these are watches that I've purchased. I don't sell any watches that are broken, that don't work, things like that. So I've gone through them just to make sure that they're working. I am not a watchsmith or a watchmaker, so I can't verify that these are the, movements are going to last for years or the battery is going to last for a couple of years. I couldn't tell you that stuff, but I can tell you that they work, and I would not sell them if they didn't work. So I've got a Loris Lumibright, a couple of them that will be for sale. I've also got a limited edition Zelos Aurora Titanium high beat movement. This is the midnight blue version, and when you look really closely at this, it is just a beautiful, beautiful watch. Titanium case, titanium bracelet. It has adjust on the fly push button clasp. Just a great looking watch. Lume on the crown, easy grippy crown. Excellent lume, all night lume. Just a fantastic watch. That's also on sale on the website. I've also got the Phoebus Proteus, which is, but I really don't want to sell this one, but I don't have room for these watches anymore. This is another NH35, solid movement in here, great lume, excellent bezel on here. Just a fantastic looking watch. I really like this watch because the angles on here, typical clasp when it comes down to adjustability on here. Just a great overall watch. You'll see that on there. I have a handful of other watches out there, so check it, realidealgear.com, and we'll just end it with that. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great Thanksgiving.